Hello everyone and welcome to the A&B Wheel Review YouTube channel. Today on the table we of course have Lightning McQueen and Mack. Now one thing worth mentioning is that this is the Cars 1 release of Mack, and right off the bat you can tell here by the white on his hat there, and there's a few other differences of course in the trailer which we will get into later. Now I wasn't even going to do a McQueen, but I happened to come across a regular Cars 1 McQueen in the store while I was hunting for Mack, so yeah, we're going to get into both of these diecasts here today. Let's start off here with Mack himself in the package. On the front, we of course have the picture of Lightning McQueen there, and it says Mack Holler, which his name is actually just Mack, but since he is a holler, I guess they just put holler in the name. Moving on to the back, we have a picture of the trailer actually opened up with Lightning McQueen sitting there inside. Like all the other modern releases, this is of course made in Vietnam and also made by Mattel. Not much going on the bottom other than this little tab you push in to open up Mack, which we are about to get into here in a moment. But before that, let's get into Lightning McQueen. Now this of course is a classic Lightning McQueen just from Cars 1. Definitely one of my favorite releases, if not my favorite release of Lightning McQueen ever. I know it's kind of boring, but I really do just love this Cars 1 McQueen. Moving on to the back, we can see some other cars that are also released, and just like every other diecast, not much else going on back here. In my opinion, the modern packaging is still quite boring with just the red and the white in the background. Where's the soul there? They need to bring back the original packaging where there was actually some background stuff going on. It just looked a lot better in my opinion. But now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's go ahead and tear into these diecasts. Now that they're out of the package, we can go ahead and dive straight into the review. I believe we'll start off with McQueen. So this is, like I said, a classic Cars 1 McQueen. Not much different to what we've seen before, obviously the Vietnam variant. And one thing I will say, compared to the China releases, this is one thing I've noticed. The quality control on these cars is not as great as it used to be, which is very unfortunate, but overall still great diecast. Obviously I love this McQueen. It's just got the classic 95 on the side with the lightning bolt as seen in Cars 1. Rusties on the hood, the kind of Vietnam style eyes, which are different than the China releases. On the bottom here, just made by Mattel, made in Thailand of course. On the back of course we've got Rusties, 95 on the taillight, and the rookie stripe with medicated bumper ointment. And you can't forget that Lightning McQueen on the roof there from the iconic shot from the movie. And now we can move on to the main attraction, which will be the Mack Holler. Like I said before, this and both Lightning McQueen are both the Cars 1 versions, which we haven't seen for a long time, at least with Mack. Obviously McQueen's been released 100 times, but Mack himself from Cars 1 hasn't been released in quite a while from as far as I know, so I'm really glad to see this. I was hyped to see this in the store. Just a classic Mack. Now we'll start off with Mack himself. On his hat, you can tell it's the Cars 1 release with the white printing on the hat there with the Rusties logo. On the side, we've got the 95 with the lightning bolt. And just like I said earlier, guys, with these Thailand variants, the quality control is not that great. I've got a few scuffs from the factory on Mack himself, but nothing too crazy, so that's all right. Moving on to the other side, it's about the same deal. Yet another scuff on this side too, which is very unfortunate. Now we'll move on to the trailer, which has the Cars 1 printing on the side with just a picture of McQueen with the lightning bolts coming out in the background. The big old 95 with the big lightning bolt there, and it reads Lightning McQueen. Got the Rusties logo with all his contingency sponsors on the side there. And on the top we've got this sticker. This is not printing, this is actually a sticker that says Rusties. On the back we of course have the other picture of Lightning McQueen. There's sort of a different expression, so that is a different photo with of course lightning bolts in the background, and the license plate also reads Rusties, which is a cool little detail. And just like it is shown on the back of the packaging, you can open up this hauler, and inside there's a drill, there's a toolbox, just a couple of little accessories in there which look pretty cool. You can either pull this out all the way, or you can push it in and just have it open up more realistically. And one thing you'll find with a lot of these haulers, when you roll them, they tend to squeak a little bit. But like I said, you can expect that from basically all the haulers, so not a big deal. Now we will do the separation test. We'll see how tough it is to separate Mack from the trailer itself, which, yeah, it's already seeming a little tough. Had to go off camera to do that, which it wasn't too bad, but it's still a little harder, especially for kids. I would say it's going to be a little tough to separate these, but you can separate Mack from the trailer and just have the diecast himself, or you can just disconnect the trailer by itself. Alright, so overall, very quality diecast. I just love the Cars 1 paint schemes, everything about them, the model of McQueen from Cars 1, because as many of you know, the Cars 3 McQueen, the actual model of the diecast is slightly different, which I don't like near as much, so I'm really glad to see a Cars 1 McQueen in the store, and I'm very glad to see a Cars 1 Mack in the store, because, like I said, he hasn't been released in a while, and definitely pick him up if you find him, because who knows when the next time he'll be released is. That is pretty much it for this review. I really do appreciate you watching. If you did enjoy, please drop a like and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. I'm gone.